Nairobi. Imagine your missing mother walking through the door, looking younger than you. Where has she been all these years? This is the African folktale that left an entire neighborhood in fear, and no one who heard it was ever the same again. My name is Esther, and I have lived in Nairobi's South B estate all my life. I have seen many strange things in this city: robberies, sudden wealth, neighbors who disappear and return broke, but nothing prepared me for what I witnessed with my own eyes one quiet Sunday afternoon. It is a story I still struggle to explain, and yet every word is true. It began with the Kalonzo family. They were one of those families you couldn't miss in the estate. Mr. Kalonzo, a tall man with a sharp jaw and a voice that carried across the compound, worked at a bank. His wife, Mama Joy, was known for her laughter and her colorful listos, the type of woman who would greet you in the morning even if you never answered. They had 3 children: Joy, the eldest, then Brian, and the youngest, Anita. I was close in age to Mama Joy, though not as close a friend as others. She was lively, always wearing bright kitten skirts with matching head wraps, and she cooked chapati like no one else. But one day, about 20 years ago, she simply vanished. The story then was that she had gone to visit a cousin in Kisumu and never returned. Some whispered she had run away with another man. Others said maybe she had gone mad. But the truth was, she disappeared, leaving behind her 3 small children. Mr. Kalonzo never spoke of her. He carried himself like a wounded soldier, always stiff, never laughing. Eventually, he remarried a quieter woman named Janet, and life moved on, though, in whispers. I watched those children grow without their mother. Joy, the eldest, became serious before her time, always carrying Anita on her hip. Brian turned rebellious, always fighting in school, and Anita, the baby, never remembered her mother's face. Now, fast forward 20 years, it was a warm Sunday afternoon, the kind when Nairobi feels half asleep. Most of the estate was indoors, some cooking pilaf, others watching football. I was sitting on my balcony with tea when I saw a woman walking down the estate road. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Nairobi women come in many styles, some in high heels, some in jeans, some in African prints. But something about her caught my eye. She was slim, maybe late 20s, early 30s. She wore a cream blouse tucked into navy blue skinny jeans and carried a leather handbag, the kind sold in Sarit Center. Her hair was neatly braided, falling to her shoulders, and her skin glowed in that way only Nairobi women who know their skincare routines seem to manage. But when she drew closer, I froze. It was Mama Joy. Only it couldn't be. Mama Joy had vanished 20 years ago, when she was already in her mid-30s. If she were alive today, she would be in her 50s, but the woman walking towards the Kalonzo gate looked no older than 30. Younger than her own daughter Joy was now. I remember gripping the balcony rail, whispering, "Hiya, what is this I am seeing?" She walked straight to the Kalonzo house, and stood at the gate. For a long while, she didn't knock. She just stood there, looking at the garden like someone remembering a dream. Finally, Anita, the youngest daughter, now a grown woman in her 20s, opened the gate. I cannot describe Anita's face when she saw her. First confusion, then shock, then tears. The girl dropped the shopping bag she was carrying and whispered, "Ma'am." The whole estate erupted in whispers. People came out of their houses, pretending to stretch or sweep, but everyone's eyes were fixed on the scene at that gate. Mr. Kalonzo came out. His head bald now, his body heavier with age. He stared at her for so long in silence, and then, he did something none of us expected. He fell to his knees. The neighbors gasped. This was a man who never bowed to anyone, yet there he was, kneeling before a woman who should have been older than him by now, but instead looked like a university student. Joy, the eldest daughter, ran out from the house. She froze, dropped her phone, and simply collapsed into her mother's arms, crying like a child. Brian stood back, fists clenched, torn between anger and relief. We all watched. No one dared approach, though we stood only meters away. Finally, they took her inside. But Nairobi estates are not private. Word spread within an hour. By evening, the whole of South B knew. Mama Joy has returned, and she looks younger than her children. For days, it was all anyone could talk about. At the supermarket, women whispered while picking tomatoes. In matatas, strangers argued whether it was true. On WhatsApp estate groups, people shared theories. Some said she had found a rich sponsor in Dubai who kept her young. Others insisted it was witchcraft. Me, I couldn't sleep because I had seen her up close, and I knew it was her. The same eyes, the same dimple on the left cheek. But how could she look 20 years younger? After a week, she finally agreed to speak. It was at a family gathering, but you know Nairobi, nothing is ever private. A cousin recorded everything on their phone, and soon the story leaked. She said she had been taken. Not kidnapped in the usual sense, but taken in another way. She never explained fully, only that one night, while traveling to Kisumu, she boarded a car that wasn't normal. She thought it was a shuttle, but the journey felt strange. She said when she arrived, time did not move like it does here. She lived somewhere for years, but when she returned, she found her children grown and herself unchanged or even younger. People laughed at this. Nairobians are skeptical. But others, especially older neighbors, nodded quietly, as if they knew such things could happen. Her children though struggled most. Joy, now 30 herself, couldn't bear that her mother looked her age. She avoided her. Brian shouted once in the estate road, saying, "Where were you when we needed you? Now you come looking like my girlfriend." The boy was broken, and Anita, who never knew her mother, followed her everywhere, clinging like a lost child who finally found what she had been missing. And Mr. Kalonzo, he became a shadow of himself. His second wife, Janet, packed and left quietly, unable to live in the same house with a woman who looked younger than her own stepdaughter, but claimed the title of first wife. I will never forget the last time I saw her. It was a chilly evening, and I was walking home from Uchumi supermarket. I passed their gate, and there she was, sitting on the porch in jeans and a white sweater, looking no older than my niece. She raised her head, smiled at me, and for a moment I saw the same Mama Joy from 20 years ago. But behind her smile was something else, sadness. I realized then that maybe it wasn't a blessing to return young. Maybe it was a curse, to come back to children older than you. A husband broken, a city that whispers your name but never believes your story. Within months, she disappeared again. Just like before. Some say she went back to wherever she had been taken. Others whisper she is still in Nairobi, blending among us, working in an office, her secret hidden in plain sight. As for me, Esther, I only know what I saw with my own eyes. And I swear, until my last breath, I will say this. One Sunday afternoon, in Nairobi, a woman who had vanished 20 years ago returned to her family's doorstep looking 20 years younger than her children, and nothing in our estate has ever felt ordinary since. Her return was not just a reunion, it was a warning. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. If you want more haunting African folktales like this, don't just leave, subscribe now, and join the family keeping these stories alive.